What you gonna do, the hot dollar? On Crypto Bull God and his crypto maniacs and the entire cryptocurrency market run wild on you!
Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and in today's video, the family. This video is dedicated to my family who is in the market, and this family will be the cream of the crop, and we will be rising to the absolute top. Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is the recorded on Tuesday, airing on Tuesday, August 17th, 2021 Crypto Bull God podcast. You can find me on Twitter, TradingView, YouTube, and Instagram at Crypto Bull God. This is about as much structure as this podcast has had since implementation. I just noticed that the last podcast was uploaded last Tuesday on the 10th. So this is the second consecutive Tuesday that I've done a podcast. I just haven't had the ability right now to have a whole lot of structure on when this thing gets recorded, just because of this thing called life. But at some point in the future, I'd like to have a little bit more regularity and schedule kind of put back behind all this stuff that I do. So today is August 17th. Today is my brother's birthday. I will refrain from singing because I have absolutely no singing abilities, so I will not swing. I will not swing. I will not swing. I will not sing to you, brother. But what I will do is I will toast to your birthday. And this toast is brought to you by a couple friends who they're married couple friends, is that how you say it? Couple friends. Couple married folks. Friends, they're a married couple and they're Peruvian and they went to Peru, and they were kind enough and sweet enough to think of me on that trip, and they got me a couple things actually, but one of the things here that I was really excited to try, I've never had this before, it is liqueur de maca. So it's a liqueur of the maca root, the maca plant, known scientifically as something I can't pronounce, is sometimes referred to as the Peruvian ginseng. It mainly grows in the Andes of central Peru in harsh conditions and at very high altitudes. Man, that sounds like the bear market from 2018 and 19. Maca is a cruciferous vegetable. I'm surprised I could pronounce that. And therefore related to broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and kale. That's interesting. It has a long history of culinary and medicinal use in Peru. The main edible part of this plant is the root, which grows underground. It exists in several colors, ranging from white to black. Very interesting. I've never had this. I'm going to try this for the first time. Thank you very much, if you're listening right now, to both of you for thinking of me. I'm smelling it right now. Now, I poured this in a glass and put a single ice cube in here. I wanted this nice and cold. I don't know if you're supposed to drink this chilled, really chilled or not, but that's what we're going to go for. So, brother, I'd like to say cheers to you on your birthday. I hope your day, I hope you crushed it at the gym per our prior conversation on deadlifts, and I hope you've been having a nice day. So, cheers. Wow, that is sweet as hell. That's very sweet. I guess that's not surprising. I like that. I gotta say, I really like that. It has, I'm not fond of licorice. This actually does have a little bit of a licorice aftertaste, but I don't mind it one bit because it's very smooth. It's actually really good. That's really sweet. You could probably get drunk off that real quick and not even realize it with the alcohol content. Very tasty, so thank you again very much. It was very good. I really like that. So before we get into the all the fun world of cryptocurrency things and matters going on in life, did want to remind everyone that closer and closer I'm getting to Chartmania. Hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark has been a little bit of a challenge. I can't really, again, some of this comes down to I just don't have the time to dedicate to, in some ways, trying to get my name out there a little bit more with the videos so that I can get a higher subscription base, and also having a lot of regularity to the TA videos and podcasts. But so been slowly, steadily getting towards 1,000 subscribers. I think as of this recording, I'm 11 subscribers away. So what I'd like to do, the cool thing is I've already had work underway done on the artwork for it. I'm really excited for the artwork for Chartmania. So I'd like to advertise it at some point, but I will poll. I will re-poll the audience to see what time frame during the day works best for you. But Chartmania, again, which is going to be a live streaming. It'll be the first time I've done live streaming on YouTube, so I'm sure maybe I'll have some challenges with that because I've never done it. The idea is I'm going to get on there and I'm going to chart out any cryptocurrency as long as I can pull it up in TradingView that you'd like to do. Yeah, we could chart out stocks. Stocks and crypto, it's all the same thing charting-wise. There's no difference. But this channel is geared towards cryptocurrency, so I only want to look at anything within the cryptocurrency space. But it's going to be a live streaming event, and I'll take any questions for anybody who shows up. I'll chart anything as long as I can get it on an exchange on TradingView, and we can take a look at it together. So if you can help me out with that, I'd appreciate it. It looks like when I wrote notes down for my prior podcast, I was 31 subscribers away. Now I'm only 11, so I am confident that I can get 11 subscribers within the next week. And then we can set up a date. Now, I do know next week I am going to be traveling Friday the 27th through Sunday the 5th of September. So it can't be any of those dates. You probably won't see me on Twitter as much as well. But we'll set something up as long as I can get these subscribers going. We'll probably set something up in September. So keep an eye on that. And speaking of new things like Chartmania, and speaking of my brother and his birthday today, I did want to remind everyone that the real podcast that I wanted to do, for those that weren't, man, this is really tasty. For those that weren't here for the first episode, one of the things I had tweeted out was that the real podcast that I was looking forward to doing was the one with my brother. So there will be an announcement, should be pretty soon, because we are looking to put our first episode out. That one's coming up pretty quick. There's a lot of things going on in these next several weeks between work life, personal life, and crypto life. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. So I'm feeling the busyness of the schedule. And I had a little bit more downtime last week, which is why, in the past 2 weeks, damn gnat. You get a housefly or a gnat, shit pisses me off. Anyway, hey, that's why in the past couple weeks here I was trying to put out as much content as I could, just because I had a little bit of downtime, right? So I think I had 3 TA videos out in the past, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, a couple podcasts. So 27th through the 5th is going to be a little challenging. I'm not going to be able to get anything out during that time, so just a heads up on that. By the way, I wanted to relay that I did something a little crazy this week. I did something I have not done in a very, very long time. I listened to a CD in my car now. Judging based on the demographics that YouTube tells me who's listening to these things, chances are you're around my age. So you know what a CD is. It's a compact disc. So my 2001 Acura Integra, which, by the way, they are going to be, I am so fucking excited. They're coming out with a new Integra, so I hope they don't screw it up. Been waiting forever for that. But I have a 2001 Acura Integra. I actually have a kick-ass sound system in there. So I have a receiver in there that you can, it's Bluetooth capable. You can hook up your iPhone with it. It's the most high-tech thing in my car. But it also takes CDs. And I hadn't listened to a CD in a while. And it was pretty crazy to think about that I don't use CDs anymore. It took me a lot of time to move off of CDs and just go to digital in terms of music on my phone, which is pretty funny when you think about it because, you know, if you're listening to this right now, myself included, we're all ahead of 99% of the people out there being in this space. So I'm definitely ahead on the financial technology space, on the fintech space. But when it came to certain pieces of technology, I definitely was a slower mover. It took me a while to get Bluetooth headphones. I still had a wire going from a iPod Shuffle. I remember at the gym. Yeah, I had headphones that plugged into my iPod Shuffle for the longest time. It took me forever to get Bluetooth headphones for my phone. So I've been a little slow in some senses. But the other thing, listening to a CD real quick, listening to a CD in my car made me think about, which I thought was pretty entertaining, at least for me, was way back in the day. It really wasn't that long ago. Not that long ago. Back in the day, do you remember when we did not have GPSs, or like if you had to buy a GPS and put it in your car, they were like $1 bazillion at Circuit City. Remember Circuit City? Yeah. I remember when you didn't have a GPS. I was thinking this to myself because of the whole technology thing with listening to a CD and how dated that is at this point, which is funny to me. You would have to write down directions. Someone would give you directions on how to get somewhere. And if you got lost, you'd literally have to stop at a gas station and ask for directions. I remember many trips being in that scenario, being in the scenario where like you write down directions and the directions would be like, look for the red house. Okay, you want to look for the, it's a bright red house. You can't miss it. It's got orange shutters on it. The ugliest piece of shit you've ever seen. Now, when you see that house, you keep going straight. Right now, continue straight. You're going to come up and you're going to see a sign, and it's for a crosswalk. You see that sign? You just want to continue straight. People could never give concise directions and just say turn right or left on this road. They would always give you shit to look for. You know, you'd have 30 things you jot down that you'd always be looking for on the roads that you were on to make sure that you hadn't missed a turn and you were going the right way. And it's just funny. I mean, now obviously you can use your phone for all this stuff. And as I say this stuff out loud, what it makes me realize is all the things that I used to make fun of my dad for, in particular, for being outdated and not being current with the times, it's all happening to me, okay? I also manage, okay? I've said this many times. It's pretty scary to think I manage, but I manage people who are much younger than me. And the generational gap makes me realize that I've lost touch with many things. So it's happening quickly. It's very, very quick that it happens. So getting into Bitcoin, before we kind of talk about some of the technicals and fundamentals, one thing I wanted to hit on, I tweeted about earlier. I said, fun fact, where's this thing at? Where's it at? Fun fact, I own a Denarium 0.01 loaded Bitcoin wallet / token. And actually, it's a 2015 Denarium wallet or token. So let me explain that tweet for anyone who's interested in what I was thinking there. Back in 2020, in the early stages of capitulation around March, it was around April, when prices started to slowly recover, what I recognized, as many other smart individuals in this space, is that prices were at an opportune time to sell everything that you owned in life and buy crypto, okay? Mass fear, mass opportunity, when you're educated and you actually know what you're doing. There can be mass fear and prices could be dropping substantially, and it could present an awful time to buy. For instance, if something is if an organization you're purchasing into shares of is going bankrupt, as an example, okay, it's not an opportune time to buy if they're filing for Chapter 11. But if you know what you're doing, obviously, and there's blood in the streets, you know, you want to sell everything you have to get into the market because you realize the opportunity. So one of the things I thought about, I just tried to think outside the box, and I knew that Denarium, I think it's actually the name of an organization, a company, they used to essentially produce these little coins, okay, but they're really wallets, they're hard wallets, and they'd be loaded with Bitcoin, and every year they'd come out with different versions, and they stopped producing them. So my thought process was, back in 2020 when prices were suppressed, spend a little bit of money, okay? Spend a little bit of money. For me, I mean, it's all subjective. Spend a little bit of money. And recognizing that these hard wallets are something, it's a relic of the past, right? And kind of looking out 10, 20 years from now, my thought process was, why not throw a little bit of money at this thing? And maybe 10 years from now, these things will become some sort of relic that outside of the fact whether or not it's loaded with Bitcoin or not, the actual wallet, you know, the fact that these things used to hold Bitcoin and people used to buy these things could be worth something someday. So something much more substantially over the price that well, it already is, but over the price that I paid, and over basically the token, the wallet itself would be marked up over any Bitcoin that would actually be loaded on it. It's just the idea that this thing used to exist. This was an old school way of custodying Bitcoin and having it. Just this little coin, and it's in a hard case, and I have it locked away somewhere. And yeah, so that was my thought process. I don't know if anybody else out there, I'd be curious actually if anybody wanted to comment. Oh, by the way, please like the comment. Please like the comment and subscribe. Did you catch all that? No. Please like the podcast, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're not. I'd really appreciate that. And also leave a comment if you own any of these. I'd really appreciate knowing that. You know, one last thing I wanted to do before we get into cryptocurrency things here is I wanted to give a shout out. I wanted to give a shout out to Brandy, who apparently is a very young and smart teenage girl who is in the cryptocurrency space, and she's apparently a fan. And I just wanted to say to you, Brandy, that you are an extremely wise and intelligent individual for being here so early on and being ahead of people that are much older than you, much wiser than you, but not within the cryptocurrency space. So props to you, and thank you for being a dedicated listener / viewer. Very, very much appreciated. Very much. All right, we need to get into the markets here because I am very happy to say that I got a lot of questions on Twitter for this podcast today, and I want to have time to get to them, which is a good thing. I'd rather have it that way than, you know, there be no questions. So I want plenty of time for that. So let's get into Bitcoin a little bit in the overall market. So, you know, one of the things I do is I will frequently relay the same messages because what I want to do is I want to ingrain things in your head, okay? I don't think that there are certain things that I can overstate. And understandably, some of you may be new, so some of the prior messaging that I've put out there, you have not heard me say. That's actually a good thing. It means my subscriber and follower base is increasing. So some of the things you're not as familiar with in terms of the repetition in which I say things. You know, for those of you who have been here for a long time, if you hear me repeating some of the same things, I don't think you can hear this enough, okay? Bitcoin right now is in the midst of a trend reversal, okay? There will be people who were bears back in late July. As we correct here, they're going to call for new lows. That's just how it goes. It's par for the course. It's what you should expect. The important thing to keep in mind is key messaging that I'm conveying to you. A question you should be asking yourself is, based on what I'm messaging, is Bitcoin continuing to create higher highs and higher lows? The answer to that question right now is yes. As we zoom in on a more micro perspective view, okay, at the 4-hour chart and continue to work our way up to the 12-hour and 1 hour, is there progress being made within the moving averages to get us to a golden cross, excuse me, on the daily chart, which a lot of traders will be looking for? Yes. And then how do the more zoomed out views look on the weekly and monthly view? Those are the things you should be asking yourself. There's nothing that is very concerning to me about the price action right now. One thing I did tweet about was that Bitcoin is, in my opinion, what appears to be at the moment a potential rising wedge, which is bearish. And there is some negative divergence showing up on the RSI. But just a couple things. First off, it's not uncommon for negative divergences to show up within charts. Eventually what you want to see show up within the price action is for bullish momentum to come in and negate those negative divergences. If you're not sure what I'm talking about right now, follow me on Twitter. I've tweeted about this stuff, so you can take a look at the chart that I posted on Bitcoin. I spoke to a massive negative divergence that took place starting on my birthday, actually, in January, and fed all the way into May, and then we eventually saw our correction. Well, we negated that negative divergence. Now there is a little bit of negative divergence showing up in the chart. There is no one indicator that's going to be the be-all, tell-all of what's going to happen. It's very possible you could see a correction here and Bitcoin could come down to 41,000 or 42,000. Okay, so be it. This isn't anything uncommon or that should concern us. Okay, if we're getting emotional during this time because we're seeing some red in the market, again, you need to ask yourself why that is. Are you zooming out? Are you looking at a lot of the views that I'm conveying to you? Are you looking at a lot of the data science models? Are you looking at multiple data points to formulate a conclusion? Or are you getting caught up on an hourly chart or a daily chart in the day-to-day price action and the tweets that are out there on Twitter, which can be quite toxic, and then getting emotional about what you're invested in? The reason that I'm so convicted and I feel so unemotional about this market is because I've done all the homework. Okay, I've just spent way too much time in this market not to feel as convicted as I feel. Okay, so the fact that now we're printing our fourth red candle on Bitcoin to me is not overly concerning whatsoever. Again, because we're creating higher highs and higher lows, right? Another important thing that I've conveyed is that nothing goes up in a straight line. On July 21st, okay? July 21st, Bitcoin's opening price on Coinbase was 29,796.15. We are now sitting, as I'm recording this podcast, near $45,000. That's perspective. If your perspective is Bitcoin's come down from 47 to 45 and Jesus, it's come down like 5%, come on. I mean, just part of me wants to exhibit patience on my part that not everyone is mathematically inclined, but some of this, you know, you can't read a chart, and I get that, but some of this, when I see people get overly emotional, what is obvious to me, because I've been there, okay, what's obvious to me is that you have not done your homework, okay? This isn't meant as criticism. This is meant as an opportunity. If you're someone who's getting emotional, this is an opportunity for you to really take a step back and ask the question, why? Why are you getting emotional? Do you know what you're invested in? What's your time horizon for your investment? Is it reasonable? What time frames are you looking at on charts? Can you read a chart? Who are you following on Twitter? Who are you following on YouTube? You need to really, what made you buy any of these tokens? Why are you in XRP or Bitcoin or Hbar or Mana or One or Tezos or Uniswap or Chainlink? I could go on and on. Why are you in any of these things? If you're getting emotional, I've said this time and time again, emotion is a money killer. When we start to run up, because shit will go up quick. We are in the midst, in my opinion, since the trend reversal back in late July, we have entered the final leg of this bull run. I've been on record saying that I feel very confident. My main hypothesis is that we are topping in this market in the fourth quarter of this year. Bitcoin will top somewhere in the fourth quarter of this year, and alts will be shortly right around that time horizon. You have laggards and you have ones that closely follow it. If I had to pick a sweet spot, again, I've said right around the middle of the fourth quarter in November. That's I'm on record as saying that. And to me, and it's all, you know, there's a probability for everything. There's no certainties in this market. Let me just say this. If you're following someone that's telling you a certainty, or they know something's going to happen, or they guarantee it, I would challenge you to really reassess that person you're following and perhaps unsubscribe, because no one can tell you with 100% certainty anything. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit because I had something to say about that. I give you probabilities and where my greatest convictions lie and where my hypothesis is strongest, okay? For me, the worst case scenario, and this is not a bad scenario, it's just a worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is timing. I've said this again. The worst case scenario is the bull market bleeds into 2022 and ends somewhere in the first half of 2022. That's the worst case scenario for me. But my strongest convictions lie within the camp that we are topping in the fourth quarter, okay? So this helps me, all this homework that I've done, all this research, all the zooming out, it helps me to remain very level-headed. You know, the other thing to keep note of is that alts are running, everyone. Have you not noticed that every other day there's an alt that's going off 15, 20, 30, 40%? Have you not noticed that? Have you not noticed certain alt projects creating new all-time highs? I mean, I'm looking at my watch list. Ren is up 17%. The graph, which was earlier, I think it went past $1 right now, is sitting, it looks like at 87 cents or 88 cents. Quant is at 163. That created a new high this year. There are just all these tokens that keep popping off and creating, some of them have created new all-time highs. And these are indicators that a lot of the money is bleeding into these projects, and some of it is from profits from Bitcoin, some of it's new money entering the space, but there is a little bit of rotation going on. You're going to see, and this is out there on Twitter, you can see prominent people who have that flow chart out there. There's a lot of money that's bleeding into the larger cap altcoins. They're going to feed into the mid and then the low cap, okay? That's exactly what's going on right now. And actually, there was a question related to that, so we'll get a little bit into that. But the fact that another point that should leave you, at least someone who's been here like myself, I've been here for a little while, another thing that makes me feel more convicted is, as you see, typically in a bear market, what you see, okay, is, again, this is what we saw a couple months ago, bearish price action in a massive bull cycle. I've been consistent, folks. I haven't said anything otherwise, right? In a true bear market, like what we saw in 18 and 19, okay, what you'll see is Bitcoin down, say, 5%, and the alts are, down 20%, okay? You don't have a situation where right now I'm looking at my screen here and Bitcoin's down 2%, and you have alts up 10%, 20%, 6%, 8%. That shit does not happen. Your alts, because they're a more volatile asset, they have a smaller market cap, a smaller share of the overall industry. They're more volatile. They're going to have larger. They have the potential for larger upswings and larger downswings. And so, in a bear market, a true bear cycle, a true bear market, these things will correct massively over what Bitcoin sees, and we're not seeing that. What we're seeing, I mean, Christ, I tweet so many different things, and I've put out these TA videos. We're seeing all of these altcoins, if you zoom out and look at a weekly chart, for instance, okay? We're seeing all these altcoins with rounding bottoms, creating higher highs and higher lows. Price indicators like the MACD are curling up. The RSI, no negative divergences, creating highs. Price action, creating highs. All these things are indicators. There's no guarantee, but it's all indicators to make us feel more convicted that the price action is trending in the right direction, okay? One other thing I wanted to talk about, which seems to be always every iteration here, every cycle, and of course there haven't been many cycles, right? But every year there's always conversation about the flippening. So I wanted to share at least my personal thoughts on what I think could transpire during this bull cycle and the flippening. The flippening, for those unfamiliar, This terminology is used to describe an altcoin that will flip Bitcoin in terms of market cap size, meaning Bitcoin has always been the #1 cryptocurrency project in terms of market capitalization. When people refer to the flipping or the flippening, what they mean is an altcoin will actually supersede Bitcoin in terms of the size of its share of the cryptocurrency industry, meaning its market capitalization will exceed Bitcoin, and it'll be listed #1 on, well, whatever you're looking at, CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, okay? So my own thought, my own personal opinion is that ultimately this cycle, okay, which again, I heavily lean towards ending in the fourth quarter of this year, nothing is going to flip Bitcoin. Nothing. Now, the only caveat, an asterisk in there, is Ethereum. There is a lot going on with Ethereum right now, okay? Decentralized finance, smart contracts, okay, and NFTs are the main narrative right now. You can't fight the narrative. I'm not here to talk about what your own personal preferences are, your views are, fundamentals of other projects, okay? I'm just telling you what the mass narrative is, okay? And Ethereum right now has a lot of momentum and a lot of steam. So what I could see potentially is Ethereum flipping Bitcoin this cycle, but it's very brief. I mean, it's very brief. We're not talking about Ethereum growing in size larger than Bitcoin and sustaining a value market cap-wise larger than Bitcoin for several days even. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, one day you wake up or one day in the middle of the day, whether it's the morning or afternoon, you look and Ethereum, I could see a couple different scenarios. Either Ethereum supersedes Bitcoin for almost a full day, maybe one day. Maybe Ethereum exceeds Bitcoin's market capitalization on a few exchanges, but there's differentiations within a few different exchanges. So maybe on Coinbase it didn't, maybe on Poloniex it did. So there's some differentials there. So I think it's very possible that Ethereum could potentially temporarily, very briefly, supersede the market cap of Bitcoin this cycle. Outside of that, nothing's going to flip Bitcoin. It's just not, and I'm not here to talk about, you know, and this is something that Minishift gets caught up on. Again, I constantly go back. What I'm here to help you prepare for is this cycle, okay? What my finances are set up for and how I'm invested and my strategy to sell, it's based on this motherfucking cycle. I'm not here to have a conversation with you 10 years from now. Do you know how much variability there is for 10 years from now? If you want to have a conversation, yeah, I was, laughing this up with my brother this morning, and funny, ironic enough, I saw a tweet about this that I sent to him. I'm not here to have a conversation with you about XRP or XLM getting to $100, okay? It's not getting to $100 this cycle. Could either of those projects get to $100 10 years from now? All right, cool, it's a possibility, all right? I mean, there's a lot of variability 10 years from now. A whole lot of shit could happen, all right? What I'm focused in on, okay, I'm not here to have I'm not here to have an irrelevant conversation about 10 years from now. What I recognize based on everything that I've learned, okay? You can either choose to listen to me or not listen to me, okay? What I'm here to do is to maximize my potential and to help you maximize your potential in this cycle. And this cycle ends this year. That's what I'm here for. Okay? So I'm not here to talk about Hbar flipping Bitcoin or Hbar being the best coin ever. I'm not here to talk about XRP being the #1 coin. I'm not here to talk about Solana getting up into being in the top 3 or 5. I don't give a shit about 10 years from now. What I'm here is to maximize my opportunity in this 4-year cycle, okay? After the 4-year cycle is done and I scale out of my investments and I profit from this, unemotionally scaling out 10% here, 20% here, 30% here, 20% here, 10% here, okay? Once I'm out, okay, and the dust settles, okay, then we can reassess the market during the bear market cycle And then we can talk about all the projects and where they lie and what the potential is moving forward in the next cycle. Okay, that's what we can talk about. Every token that I mentioned, although I'm not currently invested in Solana, whether it's Hbar or XRP, people, I just say this time and time again, and it frustrates me. It frustrates me that people can't see this. It frustrates me that people can't fundamentally love a project, but be rational, logical, and understand the big picture in terms of what's going to maximize your investment potential. I'm not buying any cryptocurrency to just hodl it for the next 10 years. I have studied these charts way too fucking much to understand that there are cycles that these things go through. Okay? So if I can buy at very depressed, very suppressed levels and sell at very euphoric levels and then buy in again at suppressed levels, what if I told you that the numbers told me right now, statistically, okay? I'm a statistics guy. Again, refresher, and for those people that don't know, I'm an actuary. Okay, I'm an FSA. So I am a numbers person. What if the numbers told me that I could buy Bitcoin at $3,000, I could scale out at an average exit price of let's just say $180,000. Okay, that's my average sell price. I could wait for the bear market to resume, because that's what the stats are telling me. Okay, and I can buy in at an average price of $42,000. Jesus Christ, why would you not want to do that? Why would you not want to do that if that's what the statistics and the data are telling you? That's what I'm trying to convey to people. And some people are so misinformed, and it's frustrating because a lot of the news narratives within this small community, within the cryptocurrency space, are driven by maximalists and people with their own personal agendas that you can't see through. Again, I am a nobody. I'm from the Northeast. Okay, I live down in South Florida. I'm some nerdy kid that always loved numbers, and I swallowed, was it the red pill or the blue pill for the Matrix? I don't fucking know. But whatever, I swallowed the right pill, I went into the Matrix and got into this world of cryptocurrencies. I love educating people, and that's why I'm here. So believe what you will, I'm just here to tell you what I think is logic and facts based on statistics and data. The other thing that frustrates me here, I wrote a note to myself, is when I feel the impatience, okay, when I feel the impatience from the market, when I feel the impatience from some of my followers on Twitter, it bothers me because, again, I try to look at things logically, and I think to myself, is there any other immature, disruptive space investment-wise you can invest in at floor levels and make such life-changing gains in such a short period of time? Who the fuck cares if Hbar has consolidated longer than you think and I think? Who the fuck cares? If you're convicted on the project and you understand technical analysis, or you follow people who you believe understand technical analysis, and the probabilities are in the favor of mass price appreciation, but we don't know the hour, the day, or the week, okay? This is the thing. We don't know the hour, day, or week. But we feel convicted that the probabilities are in our favor that Hbar is going to go to, say, $5. Okay, Hbar is going to see $3, $4, $5, $6, $7. All right, whatever the price is. And it's sitting at 20 cents. Who the fuck cares if it happens this month or 4 months from now? There's no other... Guys, there's no other market right now that is better to be invested in if you know what you're doing than this space. So it bothers me on no end when people become so impatient, and this includes my family. Text messages from, I'm not going to go into it, but the impatience upon corrections within the market when prices have overextended. Let's just take a step back and exercise common sense. People want immediate gratification. They want immediate gratification. They want to become millionaires overnight, and this is the type of mentality that will differentiate the winners from the losers. I'm not looking to be a millionaire overnight, okay? I should say I was never looking to be a millionaire overnight, okay? I patiently scaled into these markets and invested within logical levels, recognizing there's a lot of volatility, but a lot of upside potential. And the projects that I've heavily invested in, like Hbar, like Bitcoin, like XRP, are projects that I firmly believe in, fundamentally and technically. But none of this shit happens overnight. Where else? Look at Matic. Matic has crushed it this year. I don't know what the price started at. It started at 3 cents, 5 cents. I don't know. What else can you invest in where prices will go from 3 to 5 cents to over $2? Come on. Come on, guys. Look at Bitcoin's historical rates of a price appreciation and returns every year versus every other asset class. And again, this is a concept as statistically minded as my friend Minishift is. It befuddles me that he has such hubris towards this space, such ignorance, that he continues to just conservatively invest the way he is and not recognize from a fellow actuary, my friend, from a fellow conservative actuary, that if you actually just invested in a tiny piece of your portfolio in Bitcoin, it would hedge volatility and actually increase your rate of return. But no. The words that constantly come out of his mouth are, this space is too risky. I'll see you on the other side, my friend. Have a conversation with me at the end of this year. Have a conversation with me at the end of this year. Because I guarantee with your mindset and stubbornness, you'll never invest in this market. You'll never invest in this market. Even when we're at suppressed levels a year and a half from now, entering 2023, and I'm like, this is the best time to invest, you're going to speak about volatility and tell me about alphas and betas, and you're never going to fucking invest in this market, and you missed out. This is the point of the podcast where I'm going on a tirade. I apologize, everyone, but I'm very passionate. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get into the chart of the week. Some people listening to this podcast may assume that I may be bipolar, and I apologize to anyone who knows someone that's bipolar or maybe bipolar themselves, and I'm using this term incorrectly. But from going from very high to very low, you may think, is this guy okay? I'm okay. I'm just passionate about the space. Let's get into the chart of the week. Chart of the week. All right, the chart of the week. I actually had an original chart of the week, and then I backtracked from it. So let me tell you what my original chart of the week was. My original chart of the week was Solana. But I feel like Solana has gotten so much attention lately. I just thought that I could do you guys, I feel like it would be a disservice to you if I just went along and spoke to a project everybody else is talking about. I want to talk about a different project that has made a hell of a run since the beginning of August, and really, it looks like since the 20th of July. Let's get into the chart of the week, which is ticker symbol GRT, the graph. Okay, this is something in my portfolio, I will tell you that. I don't mind saying things in my portfolio, but I don't talk about percentages of my portfolio. So the graph has had a very nice run. At the beginning of August, we opened up at On August 1st, we opened up at 63 cents. We hit a high today of $1.02, we hit $1.02.4. Okay, so we hit just over $1. Check this out, though. Since we bottomed, okay, we actually created a double bottom. This is common within charting. It's something you want to look for, which is a potential indicator for a trend reversal, a double bottom. We got a double bottom on the daily on the 20th and 21st. We bottomed at, oh my God, I did not buy at these levels. We bottomed at 47.5 cents. All right, just call it 47 cents. We bottomed at 47 cents and we ran up over $1, so we more than doubled in price. Now, the one thing I want to convey to you, there is a major area of resistance. It's not surprising for the price to hit today just over $1 and reject. That is because there is a major area of resistance. Maybe I'll tweet this a little bit later, but major area of resistance between approximately 95 cents and $1. there are certain psychological levels within any chart. $1 is certainly a psychological level, just like $10 is a psychological level, and $100 is a psychological level, because part of what makes up a chart is human emotion. Okay? So even though there's no rhyme or reason for price to reject off $1, it's us stupid humans looking at price at 89 cents and thinking it's cheap. And then when it gets to $1, we're like, oh, Christ, we got to sell it. It's human emotion. That's exactly what it is. So there is a red zone. As you know, I like to do red zones of resistance and green zones of support. There is a red zone of resistance between 95 cents and $1. So what you want to look for in the graph is once we get a daily close above, I would say $1. Once we get a daily close above $1, you want to look for that 95 cent to $1 range serve as a range of support for daily closes. And then the next range of resistance, real quick, it's somewhere around $1.20, $1.22, it looks like. $1.20 up to like just over $1.30. We'll call it $1.22 up to $1.33, right? So that would be the next area of resistance. So once we clear $1, quite a ways to run there, 20-30%. So keep an eye on the graph. Great chart setup here. Again, rounding bottom, and I fully anticipate we're going to get well above the all-time highs, which was essentially $3. It hit $2.90. So $3. We're going to get well above $3. So we'll look back on that and laugh a couple months from now. So I want to get into my favorite part of the podcast, which is Twitter questions. This is the part of the podcast where I get to interact with you. So let's get to that, which is a reminder of why I'm looking forward so much to Chartmania. So to the degree possible, spread the word, get some family members on board. I want to help your family out. So get some new subscribers on here, like the podcast, drop a comment. Hopefully you appreciate the passion. I do go off from time to time, but let's get to your Twitter questions. I love about these podcasts is I can pause my podcast for about 5 hours and you never know it. I just went out to, it's getting a little late here for me. I need to start making dinner. So, anyway, question number 1 from one of my long-time followers who I really appreciate. So, DT, you're asking a question on Elliott Waves, so I'm just going to have to not respond to that. Because one of the things I've also said a few times is that while I understand the basic principles of Elliott Wave, I am not an Elliott Wave technician at the moment. It is one of the things on top of real estate and other things that I'd like to educate myself on and be more familiar with. So when I am more well-versed on Elliott Wave theory and market structure TA, I can comment on this in the future. I can't comment on your first question. Sorry. Also, DT, you made me realize there's going to be a question limit at some point because you asked 3 questions. All right. No. I'm just having fun. But seriously, there's got to be a question limit. All right. Next question. When do you see the biggest price appreciation for Hbar and other alts? Would you see this as BTC ranges between certain price levels or during BTC's parabolic blow off or after? This is a good question. So the question makes me think you might be invested in Hbar. Comment below if you are. No. So I know you are an Hbarbarian just like me. Cheers to you, brother. So the biggest price appreciation, this answers your question specifically. So what you're asking is when the biggest price appreciation will occur for Hbar and other alts. The biggest price appreciation for Hbar and other alts, again, this opinion that I'm giving you is based off of historical data, okay? It will occur around the same time that Bitcoin has its blow off top, because what you have to understand is that we have not entered true euphoria. We're in the last leg of our bull run, okay? And once we reach true euphoria, what does that actually mean? What it means is that prices become so overextended that they really don't make sense, okay? You can sit here and try to have a fundamental conversation with me, but they don't make sense. So they enter prices that are so high that you better fucking sell, else you're going to miss out on your opportunity. So that's going to happen when Bitcoin reaches its peak, and then alts will peak very closely around that. So based on the timing that I've communicated, it would be the fourth quarter. I can't tell you when every altcoin is going to top, but some will peak around the same time as Bitcoin. Some will be later peakers, if that's a word. I think I might have just made that word up. Some will peak later than Bitcoin. XRP and XLM have both historically showed that. Hbar could be another one. So that's when I would expect it to occur. Okay, so you have another question here. So specifically in regards to Hbar, the majority of the price appreciation happens as BTC has a massive impulse, say, during doubling from 65 to 130. Well, in my opinion, by the way, we're going a lot higher than 130 in Bitcoin, but in a matter of weeks, will FOMO keep driving the Hbar price up after BTC turns, or will Hbar turn at the same time? I can't tell you that. Like I said, this is when reading charts comes in handy, because what I personally will be doing is I'll be looking at the USD chart, I'll be looking at the Hbar BTC chart, and I'll be looking at the Hbar Matic chart. So I'm using all of those charts to define to me logical levels to scale out. My best educated guess, based on what you're asking here in terms of when Hbar would actually FOMO up in relation to Bitcoin, it would FOMO up relatively. You might see some price action up in Hbar as Bitcoin enters its euphoric top. But again, if it's anything like XRP or XLM, money could eventually bleed into that altcoin, into Hbar, after Bitcoin has already topped. So what you could see is as Bitcoin's consolidating and correcting from its euphoric top, you could see Hbar then enter its massive increase in value. One thing I want to stress to you, by the way, buddy, because you and I have had some conversations, and I really respect you and appreciate your following, getting to know you a little bit. Don't try to time things perfectly, okay? Don't try to, this is just my opinion, do what you will, but don't try to flip things and sell things and put it in, like, don't try to sell your Bitcoin, put it into Hbar, or sell your Hbar and put it in XRP, or I just wouldn't advise that. Like, whatever you have invested, determine what your logical exit points are and just go with that. Because I think the more that you attempt to outsmart the market, what you're doing is you're not respecting the market. Respect the market. Be humble. Recognize that no matter how intelligent you are, okay, I consider myself a pretty intelligent individual. Consider the fact that no matter how intelligent you are, there's so much going on within the market that comprises it that you're not going to outsmart it. So stay true to what you're invested in. Don't try to flip things and just scale out at logical exit points. That would be my suggestion, educated opinion and suggestion. Okay, next question. I'm hearing calls for another dip in Bitcoin and the crypto market as a whole before the next leg up. I'm interested in your take and whether you agree and why or why not. Thanks. Okay, I want you to understand that your question is way too vague. You said another dip. Well, what the hell does dip mean? How am I supposed to interpret that? 5% dip? 10% dip? 20% dip? 80% dip? So I don't really know how to interpret your question. So what I would say is this. We're still creating higher highs and higher lows. I have no concern in price action. I spoke to that earlier. Historic corrections of 25, 30% in Bitcoin or even 35% do occur. So there will be points where we become overextended and we correct, and you have to anticipate that, okay? And this is where education pays off, because if you're utilizing various data science models and price models, price charts, and you have a handful of few people who look at the TA you really respect, and at times they agree and disagree with your views, all of these things benefit you to have multiple data points to formulate a conclusion in terms of where we may be topping. But I don't day trade. This channel's not for day trading. This is for the big picture. Yeah, we're going to have dips. We've been having dips. Nothing goes up in a straight line. But I don't see anything concerning in the charts. I don't have any concerns at the moment. Next question. Why is Hbar being suppressed? It's not being suppressed. I've gotten similar questions about this. Ladies and gentlemen, H-Barbarians, the price of Hbar is not being suppressed. It has simply been consolidating. I pointed out, look, some of the movements that occur in some of these charts are very similar. Some crypto projects have very similar charts. If you look at the chart and the formations, not price appreciation, but formation between one Harmony and Hbar, Hedera hash graph, what you will see is a very similar formation. And right now, what I'm looking at, I mean, I've just tweeted so many times about Hbars. I'm seeing higher highs and higher lows, and we're breaking out of the downward consolidation. We're above the 200 simple moving average on the daily. I've zoomed out and looked at the weekly on the MACD cross. I've just pointed to so many things. Oh, and by the way, the massive cup and handle on the Hbar BTC relativity chart, it's not being suppressed. It's just been consolidating. So consolidation isn't necessarily a straight line. It can be downward price action, but it's still consolidating within a tight range. So it's not being suppressed, my friend. Why has I got a lot of H-Barbarians. Why has Hbar price been so slow in the last 7 weeks? Sure, a 30% rise is great, but painful nonetheless. Okay, all right, I feel you. Look, I thought Hbar would have broken out. There was a moment I circled and spoke to back in, where was it? It was the 13th of May. We got huge volume and a break, and then we closed below the downward sloping line. I thought we were going to break out at that point, and we didn't. Okay, so consolidation has been longer than I expected, but as a technical analyst, all we're doing is we're commenting on probabilities, not certainties. Not certainties. We're commenting on probabilities. No one is Nostradamus. No one can give you exact timing of anything. And as far as the price being slow, there's a lot of cryptos that have been slowly creating higher highs and higher lows. I think the main thing for you, my friend, is to keep in mind that you want to zoom out, okay? Don't get caught in the day-to-day, especially in a volatile asset like Hbar, which has a lower market cap. And let's ask the question if bullish momentum is building within the price action for explosive price action. That's what I've been tweeting about. I can't tell you exactly when things are going to explode, but what I can tell you is my own opinion, which is that if you're patient, you're going to look back a couple months from now and you're going to laugh at 20-some cents when we're well past $1, $2, $3, wherever we're at, okay? You're going to laugh at it. So just don't get caught up in the emotions. Okay, so we're getting into some non-crypto questions, which is great. I like getting away actually from crypto and talking about something else. Your first question is on a fight, my friend. I actually don't watch fights. I don't know if that, I guess maybe that surprises you, but I don't watch fights, so I don't have any money on any fights. Can't answer the Eddie or Thor. Don't even know what that is. Recommended weekly workout split. Well, my workout program has evolved a lot over time. I would say the way my workout, what I would convey to you, I'll tell you what works best for me, and different workout programs work best for different people, right? So all I'll do is I'll just tell you what works for me right now, and it's evolved a lot over time. I work out 6 to 7 days a week. There's been a little birdie in my ear that's been telling me to take more days off, which I can't disagree with. I know she is looking out in my best interests. I have a tendency to go. I've never had a struggle with not going too hard and not finding motivation. My struggle has always been laying my foot off the gas pedal. So I think this person is only looking out for my best interests and cares, and I think having a day off every other week is a good thing. So I do appreciate it. But I work out 6 to 7 days a week, and what I do is I work out 2 body parts. I would say most workouts, I go back and forth between different exercises. Like today, I did back and tricep. So I'm doing a back exercise and a tricep exercise. Back and try. Different exercise. Rows, tricep extension, push down. Row, tricep push down extension. Go into lat pull down, skull crushers. So I do a lot of that. There are some days where I don't do that, like bigger lifts, like more compound movements like squats and deadlifts. I'm not doing anything in between those sets but taking a rest. And then I alternate between some weeks going real heavy and some weeks deloading, which is very important, and I've appreciated, to allow your body to recuperate, so that you can actually make further gains. Again, a theme of me is never having the motivation to work out. It's laying the foot off the gas pedal. So, and the other thing that's evolved over my line of thinking personally is my view on how often to work your abs. I'm under the current impression that you can actually work out your abdominals a lot more frequently than other muscle groups. So I would say within the past, 2 years at this point. I would say roughly in the past 2 years, I've worked out my abs, like between obliques, upper and lower abs, a lot more frequently during the week, like several days, and it shows. Like, I've seen a lot of improvement in my abdominal area, and my abs have just gotten a lot stronger. So as far as workout splits, I'm just alternating between two different main body parts. Let me go through my workout. So I might do chest and some ab work. I might do shoulders and some bi work. I might do, well, legs. A leg workout is a leg workout. I'm just working legs. I might do back, like when I'm doing, well, I do back and tries, but then when I'm doing like a deadlifting day, like I'm still working like my hamstrings, maybe some quads, deadlifts, maybe some traps on that day. Yeah, and then abs are kind of thrown in the days where I don't have compound movements. So I hope that's helpful. I don't know. And then cardio I do every single day no matter what my workout is like. It just varies between intense cardio and light cardio. I just like doing cardio every day. So 2 days a week. It's been 2 days a week. Maybe I should be doing 3, but I only do 2. 2 days a week I do interval sprint training. I love doing sprints. I'm not a long-distance runner. I don't like doing long-distance running. It's boring as shit to me. It's the only way I can relate to someone if they say they don't enjoy weight training. I don't enjoy long-distance running. Don't ask me to run 3 to 5 miles with you. I'm not doing it. So even if there's someone in my life who wants to take a run with me, you're going to really have to coach me up for that and entice me to do that. There's got to be something in it for me. Just an FYI. But I do enjoy sprint intervals. I do enjoy that, and I do that twice a week. Will you sign and send me an XRP or Hbar cap? Because why the hell not? Why the fuck not? You know what? You know what I'm going to do, my friend? Why the hell not? I raise your why the hell not, and I say why the fuck not, all right? So give me some time. Let's wait until, how about this? No one's ever asked me this question. How about this? If you still feel this way, all right? If you still feel this way, wait until the end of this bull cycle, and I promise you that if you provide your information, I will send you a signed XRP or Hbar cap. It might be Hbar, actually, but I'll send you one or the other, and that's a very unique request. All right, I can do that for you. Okay, last question from this individual. How far, average percent, do you believe we're going to pull back during the next bear market? Ooh, this is a great question. This is a really good question. Thank you. This is something I've repeatedly spoken to, so maybe you're a new listener or you don't fucking listen. No, maybe you're a new listener, so you didn't hear me say this. But in prior podcasts, what I've spoken to is, this is just my opinion, again, as a data scientist, data analyst. How many other words can I come up with? Data construction modelist, predictive modelist, life actuary, and a financial architect. There's many other terminologies I could come up with to make myself sound smarter than what I am. But the point, at the end of the day, I rely on numbers. Numbers are the most beautiful thing to me, and that's what I rely on at the end of the day most heavily, okay? Statistics, right? What the statistics tell me, and looking at prior cycles, is Bitcoin will have somewhere around an 83-85% correction, maybe because the market cap is higher. It'll be a little less, around 80-78%. Spoke about this in my last podcast, actually. But the lower market caps, I don't even consider Ethereum an altcoin anymore. I consider Bitcoin and Ethereum are on a relatively similar level. I don't even consider Ethereum an altcoin anymore. I should have said that earlier with the flippening. But your smaller alts. So you talked about XRP and Hbar. XRP will have a significant correction, in my opinion. Maybe a 95% correction in its price. I want you to think about that. So let's say XRP hits the peak price of what I have suggested for this cycle, this year. Let's say it hits $10. Let's say it wicks, okay? And it's going to be a price wick. Let's say it wicks and hits all the way up to $10. Well, 5% of that is 50 cents. So it wouldn't surprise me to see XRP go from $10 down to 50 cents. Hbar. Let's say Hbar, that's even a smaller market cap. Those things can correct 97, 99%. Let's say Hbar fucking blows it out of the fucking sky and hits $9 on the dot. Although if it hits 9, it's probably hitting 10. If you've listened to prior podcasts, the rule of sevens, if we get to 7, there's a high likelihood of 10, in my opinion. If it hits 70, a high likelihood of 100. 70 cents, a high likelihood of $1. So if it hits $7, a high likelihood of $10. Anyway, I've spoken to that in the past. But if Hbar hit $9 and the crypto bull god got a tattoo as such that I've tweeted about, we could see a 99% correction. Okay, you could see, or a 97% correction. Okay, so you could see that thing go down to, 20 cents or whatever it is. All right, generally I'm good with math. Let's say $9 times, let's say it has a 97% correction. So 0.03, yeah, 27 cents. So you could be looking at the floor right now of the current and the next bear market. Okay, so I'm only using history until history tells me otherwise, until we see different price action. Don't let anyone fool you. If you want to, it's your choice. If you want to listen to people and say institutional involvement and blah, 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 and this time's different, dude, you go for it. What I'm doing is using prior cycles to tell me what I can expect to maximize my potential. So in the bear market, it's going to be just like the past. Bitcoin will be somewhere around an 80% correction. Okay. Ethereum will probably, because I don't consider it an altcoin, will be around the same amount, although a little bit more. And altcoins will be in that 95, 97, even 99% range. Okay, that's my opinion. Any other questions? Okay. Sorry, this has just been a long podcast. My exhale is not at the questions. I really appreciate you guys engaging with me. By the way, we need to get more women engaged here. There are not a lot of women engaged on this in general in crypto, but the female audience looking at my YouTube statistics is very, very low. I am over an hour into this podcast. I just want to thank you if you're literally listening to this right now and you've gone from start to finish listening to this. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I really do think to myself, like, am I really that, intriguing to listen to, for an hour? Although the nice thing is, if you have YouTube Premium, you can kind of close out of your phone and just listen to this. It's all audio. So once I actually get on additional platforms like Spotify and Google Podcasts and things like that, you can just listen to it, because that's really the premise of this. I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts nonstop. I barely watch TV. Okay, last question. This dude has interacted with me heavily within the past couple months here, so thank you for that, Steve. This is a very good question. Thank you for asking this, Steve. Best place to start learning technical analysis. So I'll tell you what I did. Back in 2016, I just Google searched, my friend. And what I ran into was a site, an individual. It was a paid service. And I will say this. The other thing is, I think sometimes you get what you pay for. In the case of investing your own money, guys, I hope you really appreciate me spending the time to do this podcast. I love cooking. I got to tell you, especially if I'm cooking for someone else, I'm really anal retentive about it. I want to make sure things turn out right. Now, I'm just cooking for myself. But I completely forgot about my food that was cooking. Shit's burnt, all right? I'm going to have a shitty dinner. It's going to be a pretty shitty dinner. Shed a tear for me this evening. So I'm going to eat a bunch of burnt food, and it's going to suck ass. So just letting you know right now. So shed a tear for me this evening. But as far as technical analysis, I think sometimes you do get what you pay for. In the case of investing your money, you want to make sure you're doing things right. Don't take any shortcuts. Don't look for things where you feel like you can just spend a weekend learning about technical analysis. I think there's so much to learn about technical analysis that you need to invest a lot of time, Steve. And it looks like you have a newborn, so you got to be patient for it. And actually, you're asking this question at the right time because as I indicated on my last podcast, I said the bear market that we're going to be in 2022, going into 2023, dude, it's the opportune time for you to not invest in the market and to actually just learn technical analysis. And then I can start reading your charts and viewing you as another data point in my own independent analysis, okay, if you spend the time doing it. But what I did was I did my own independent research, and I stumbled upon, I'll tell you specifically who I took trading classes from or how to read a chart. Now, this guy does day trade, so I don't day trade, but the way his classes are structured is not for day trading. It's just for sound, using sound risk controls, okay, in terms of how to buy and sell and also how to read a chart. So I think he did a really nice job. Clay Trader, C-L-A-Y, Trader, Clay Trader, okay. I actually am a member of the Clay Trader University. I haven't been back interacting at all with the university. I used to, but I kind of got out of that, got into crypto, and haven't looked back. But that doesn't imply that I don't find the value in the content. I mean, I thought the way he structured his classes was very well. So, hey, Clay Trader, in the 0.0% one chance you're listening, I'm advertising your services. And a shout out to you because I think you did a nice job teaching. You did a nice job. And I really appreciate people who aren't just smart, but can also convey their ideas in a very clear and concise manner to educate other people. So I think he did a very nice job. So a recommendation. Now, Steve, I have not been back to this site, so I don't know what the pricing is like. That's the other thing I considered. I thought his pricing was very fair. So I don't know what it's like now, but I thought the pricing was very fair. The content was very good. So if you would like a recommendation, Clay Trader. If you do end up signing up to Clay Trader, Steve, the only thing I request of you, make sure you mention me. Make sure you know that I referred you. Make sure make sure I know that you, I don't know what I just said. Make sure that he knows that I referred you. But that's what I would recommend. So just wanted to reiterate, if you could hit the like button, okay, it helps me as a content creator. Drop a comment. I love engaging with everyone. Subscribe to the channel. And I really wanted to say, in particular about this week, one of the things that I wanted to, the last message that I wanted to leave everyone with is I really appreciate the engagement with the questions this week. I think you guys had really good questions. It makes for a much more interesting podcast towards the end. I hope that you appreciated the content. And you're going to tune in hopefully next week for another podcast episode. So until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward. And, oh, no, I did not forget. That's how I close out the TA videos. Did you see how that naturally came out? I've done a few TA videos. No. We're going to close this thing out right. In closing, okay, thinking of Mini Schiff and the hubris that he expresses, no matter how intelligent he is, he's got so much ignorance, I don't even know where to start. Please join me in a moment of silence for all of those I attempted on multiple occasions, when Bitcoin was at like $3,200, to get into crypto. Have remained ignorant. Gracias, mis amigos y amigas.